One thing that I'm not sure of in my mind is when the Japanese finally gave us new clothes and shoes to wear. The clothes we were given were all Japanese Army issue. Shoes, cap, shirt, pants, socks, underwear, and coat. These were Japanese summer uniforms and clothes and not woolen uniforms that our guards were now wearing. We hated having to wear a Jap uniform, but we really had no choice. So now they actually end up getting on a train and they go for a long train ride. And when they finally get off, the place looked like and felt like the inside of a deep freezer. Everything was covered with snow and frozen solid. And then they get put into a truck after they get off the train in this frozen area, and they travel out from the train area, from the train station, away from the city, and they keep going and they keep going, and finally they get to a place that looks like a prison. Back to the book. I remember there were several buildings, possibly a dozen or more, but I am not sure of the exact number. The buildings were low to the ground and barely visible because of the thick blanket of snow that covered everything. We stopped shortly at one of the buildings and unloaded. Again, I needed assistance. I wasn't in the building more than 5 minutes when one of the men said that my nose was frozen or frostbitten, and I had better quickly do something about it. If I knew my nose was frozen, my feet surely were also. Both my nose and feet blistered horribly and turned black and blue like a bad bruise. The skin eventually peeled off and I was fine except for some badly scarred feet. So I didn't go into enough detail, but while they're transporting in these trucks, it's freezing. And so you've got these guys that are in whatever summer uniforms, and by the way, they weigh nothing. They have they literally have zero body fat on them, and they're freezing in these trucks, and he gets frostbite. Back to the book. We also found out that we were near the city of Mukden, Manchuria. We had come from the furnace of the tropics into the deep freeze of the Arctic. And if you remember, that name might sound a little bit familiar, Mukden, Manchuria. That is one of the locations where the Japanese, the Unit 731, did experiments on Caucasian. They wanted to have Caucasian prisoners to do experiments on to make sure that the reactions to biological and chemical weapons were the same as they were on the Asian prisoners that they had been using on the Chinese prisoners that they'd been using these chemical weapons on and these biological weapons on. And so that's where he is now.